I'm TaLynn Kel, and today we're going to talk about cosplay wigs. These wigs. Let's talk wigs and cosplay. So, when I first started cosplaying, I didn't actually pay that much attention to the wigs because I didn't think it was a big deal. In fact, there's a number of my cosplays you see, I don't even have wigs. But over the years, I've learned that they are a very just necessary accessory to your cosplay. I used to just think, oh, I could just buy any cheapo wig from the costume shop and it wouldn't be a big deal. And what I learned over time is that those wigs end up being almost a one-time use thing. They get very tangled. Sometimes the hair doesn't even move. And that's cool if you're doing something like a mohawk, but the more realistic the texture of the hair is, the better it actually looks for your cosplay. I mean, unless you're doing an anime cosplay. Anime cosplay, that hair is already unnatural bubblegum pink, whatever, sky blue, not even, it's just all over the place. You don't have to worry about that. In fact, most of those are hair helmets anyway. But if you are doing like the wild colors and the hair is supposed to be, we're going to say fine textured hair, it pays to actually, it helps your cosplay a lot to spend a little bit of money on that wig. And so what that did was, the way it changed how I looked at it was that one, I stopped buying wigs at costume shops. That's the first thing. You don't want to do that. Once again, they're flammable. They're very flammable, and they don't feel like hair. They don't look like hair. And granted, when you have something like my big flame orange and red wig, it kind of doesn't really look like hair either, but it looks enough and it looks great as hair that I will be honest, that wig made my cosplay. One, sometimes your wig is the cosplay. I can put on any outfit I want. If I put on a white wig, people will believe I'm Storm. They'll call me Storm, even if I'm not trying to be Storm. That's the downside of the white wig as a black woman, because everyone thinks you're Storm. So if you're trying to do an anime character with white hair or any other character with white hair, no one's going to think that's who you are. They're going to think that you're Storm unless they see maybe an X-Men emblem or something else that's kind of iconic about that character. When I did the complete change for like the red wig, the afro is Dark Phoenix, and I changed that cosplay a little bit, but it was mostly canon because I knew the hair was going to be completely different. And so I chose to have something that was closer to the character's actual cosplay than I might do with Storm. With Storm, I would wear this outfit, throw on maybe some blue contacts and a white wig and go out and be like, woo, I'm casual Storm. Other things, there are going to be like wigs that they're multi-purpose. Like these are very stylized for the most part. This is the one I used for Typhoid Mary. This wig it actually was my wedding wig. Because I didn't want to worry about getting my hair done for my wedding, but I repurposed it. I use it for a vampire cosplay that I do, sometimes. And just if I want to do something that's going to be a little softer and prettier than what I normally would do, I would wear this wig. I have my white wig, which was Storm. The blonde, blue, and black wig is Nocturne, which is Nightcrawler's daughter. That's also a very iconic look. With that, I mean, her outfit is a white tank top and some shorts and a red hoodie. But that hair and the blue skin, of course, completely makes it so that if you have blue skin and the iconic hair, that's going to make your cosplay. So it's kind of important, and it just raises the bar a little bit. It photographs better, I can't tell you. And just the ease of care when you spend a little bit of money on your wig. And by a little bit of money, I mean $40, $50. I know that sounds like a lot for some people, and it can be. And if you're doing 20 cosplays a year and you're getting a different wig for every cosplay, yes, that's going to add up. But if you're doing 1 or 2 signature cosplays, then having that wig that you spent $40 or $50 on is going to be awesome because it's going to maintain the style. I did not do anything with that afro. I take it, I stuff it in a box. That's it. That's all I do. And I pull it out the box and I fluff it up. And maybe I put some hairspray on it, maybe not. That's all I do. With the Nocturne one, Same thing, except that one needs a little bit more. Sometimes I have to flat iron it. And that's the other thing I have to mention about spending money on wigs. If you're gonna get wigs, make sure you are at least at the price point where you can flat iron and style the hair. Unfortunately, a lot more wig stores are carrying that one, but you should, that level of wig, but you should ask about that. Because if you try and style one of those wigs you get from the costume shop, and I'm trying not to name names, but we all know which ones they are. If you try and get those, you're gonna melt the hair. You can't style it. Once it's that clumpy mess, that's how it is. The best you can do is cut it. And you might be able to use it 2 or 3 times, but you will not be able to use it for years like I have with my Typhoid Mary wig. And I actually have never gotten this wig restyled because I feel like the frizzier her hair is, the more it identifies with the character. When it was too clean, it was really too clean. But that's another thing you can do. If you find somebody locally who takes care of wigs, usually you can pay them to restyle your wigs, and that's they wash them, they dry them, they flat iron them again and give you back the style. And you know, you kind of want to do that depending on, you know, how often you're wearing it and how well you're taking care of it and whether or not you sweat in it, because Dragon Con. I have a wig stylist here in Atlanta. Her name is Mina, and she works at Mina's Fashions, and I don't want to tell you where it is because if I do, you'll start using her, and then she won't have time for little old me. But she's amazing. So I wish I had a picture. This wig started out as a bright orange, very frizzy, big hairstyle. And I said, this is the wrong color, and I need for it to actually be more like spiral curls. And so she went and changed the color of this from this bright orange to this, you know, this reddish, more of a reddish brown, and then did the spiral curls. And I've had this wig without getting it restyled for, I want to say 5 years now. But she did all of these. As I said, she did this one for my wedding. It's a lace front wig that I spent a little bit more money on because it was for my wedding, but less than $100, but still a little bit more. The Nocturne wig is actually 2 wigs that she put sewed together, which a lot of people do. I personally have never developed that skill, but there are cosplayers who do actually develop this skill set, and that's awesome. As, again, you make sure that the quality of hair that you have can be actually have heat applied to it. The Storm wig is also 2 wigs that she sewed together, and she cornrowed the sides. At the time, and it's funny because I've changed my mind about this, I didn't want to shave my head, and so I wanted to have a mohawk, and then I changed my mind and I shaved my head right before I wore that wig, so whatever. Anyway, and I said, I need a wig that I can just put on top of my regular hair, but it still has a mohawk type of look. So we actually went back and forth a little bit and decided to do braids along the sides and one big like mohawk braid down the back. And so she had to actually get packs of hair and cornrow them and then I guess sew them to a wig cap that was already on the big braid mohawk wig, and that was how we actually came up with that one, and that took a while. Once you have your wig designed, it takes the stylist, the wig creator, wig maker, some time to actually create the look that you want, and you will go back and forth. Sometimes you'll go for in-person visits because of fit. Other times they'll send pictures. For the cornrow wig, because it was going to be such a tight fit and my ears needed to be accommodated, I met with her several times to see how it was on my head. And honestly, when I shaved my head, that changed the fit of it and in a negative way. So those are things to be aware of. Other things to be aware of, if you have natural hair, like very thick curled hair, it takes a little work to get it under a wig, and so your fit is going to be different depending on how your hair is styled. If you've straightened your hair, then you'll have an easier time, but if it's like, you know, very, very curly, putting a wig cap on and then trying to get into one of these is going to be a little bit of work. So, you know, these are just things you kind of learn over time, and that's why you do fittings, so that if something needs to be adjusted, it can be. And that one was adjusted a couple of times because I kept changing my hair. So, some final thoughts on wigs. Have fun with it. I cannot stress enough, Going to the wig store is so much fun because you get to see bits and pieces of the character that you're trying to recreate and put your own flavor onto it. For me, I love going in and just saying, let's try a different hairstyle, let's put on different stuff and see how it's going to make me look. There are things, sometimes I let them pick out wigs if I don't have a specific look in mind, and sometimes I just wander through and just see things that call my name. There have been times that I have decided to do cosplays completely around a wig that I really, really liked because I'm just kind of visual that way. Be creative, be different. You know, if you're doing a character that is, you know, in the frost region, don't feel like you are limited to exactly what the character looks like. Again, you can find some other identifying piece of them that you can use and then have fun with the hair. You can do whatever with the hair. I mean, you just saw Thor, they shaved his head. Thor is known for that long, stringy blonde hair. And now he's got a buzz cut. It's not really a buzz, but it's short. I like it. But people can now do Thor with short hair. Let's see, money. That's always a really tough one because I don't like to tell people how much to spend. We all have different situations, and for somebody, $20 could be the difference between having a place to live and not having a place to live. That said, you know, if you can, you know, spend a little bit of money on the wig can really change the look that you have, and it can be a lot of fun. Play with colors. I have, as you see, a bunch of different colors. Didn't think I would have wigs. I have about 20 more in other colors. Have fun with it. You do not have to exactly replicate whoever it is that you're cosplaying. Make it yours in your own way, in your own style, and just have fun. So I hope this was a little bit informative about wigs. I know I gave a lot of my perspective about it, which is that, again, you should do what you want. Cosplay anyway. Hashtag cosplay anyway. Because it is about any way you want to do it. Anyway. And if you don't think it looks great, do it anyway. You might figure out how to make it better next year. But as long as you keep it fun, then, you know, you'll have fun. So,